Um, so I'm going to use a graphing calculator. It says use tables. I mean, you could plug in values for x, see what it spits out for y, but that takes a really long time because you're trying to evaluate every possible value. But we're supposed to figure out this limit. The limit as x approaches infinity. So that means think of the biggest number you can think of, like a billion or a trillion. Plug that in and tell us what the y values are. So we got sine of 2x over x. So here's where x equals 0. If we want to find the limit as x approaches infinity, we're thinking about the y values as x goes on and on and on and on. Here we're at 50, we're at 70, you could back it up even further. We're at 200, at 1,000. Look, the y values are getting infinitely close to 0. So close that the graphing calculator is just saying, okay, it's basically 0. Well, it actually crosses at a few points, but the y values are getting infinitely close to 0. And this says the limit as x approaches negative infinity, so you probably can guess this is just going in the opposite direction. Here's negative 140, here's negative 150, 528. The y values at negative 0.001, they're getting infinitely close to 0. The further along you go, the closer it is to 0. So we'll graph this one, 3x to the third minus x plus 1. 3x to the third minus 3x plus 1. That's all over minus x plus 1 and then x plus 3. That won't really matter. You'll see. Okay, so here's the graph of this function. And we're supposed to evaluate the limit as x approaches positive infinity. And look, it's, well, if you take the highest power in the numerator and the highest power in the denominator, and you divide and you subtract those powers, you've got x squared for final power, right? This thing eventually is going to level off. Well, it's not going to level off. This thing is here. I guess that's too much of a simplification. You should forget what I said. Maybe I'll cut it out of the video. But anyway, we've got the graph. As x goes towards positive infinity, we're only at x equals 3. We're at 14 already. If we keep zooming out, x just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So this is going towards positive infinity. Okay, so the y values are getting infinitely big as x gets infinitely big. So as the x value goes on, the y values continue to increase and they never stop. So as x approaches negative infinity, so here's negative 1, negative 10, negative 100. Remember, we want to know what happens at negative 1,000, negative 10,000. Negative infinity is what's happening to the y values as you go to the left on the graph. So negative 100, there would be a dot. It'd just be way, way down there, really, really negative. So negative infinity is our answer here. Negative a billion, negative a trillion. The y values just keep dropping and dropping. Okay, we got 2x minus 1 over the absolute value of x minus 3. 2x minus 1 over the absolute value of x plus 3. Let me see if I get that. Yep, okay. So as we go towards positive infinity, the y values are getting closer to 2. Here we are at 1.8, 1.85. We could extrapolate that pattern. It gets infinitely close to 2. That's the positive infinity limit. And what happens as the x values get really far to the left, negative infinity, the y values get infinitely close to negative 2.